Hey guys. Sorry, I'm 20 minutes late. Sorry, Lou. Sorry, YouTube people who are teasing me. Asmer, Mommy, Matt. I know, it was crazy, Dal. It was crazy. You know what else is crazy? That as soon as I hit go live, my Fitbit went off to tell me that I need to take some steps. So I'm just going to back my chair up and we could talk about Survivor while I take a few steps. Okay, I have no face, but it's fine because if I mess with my camera, it'll be all confusing. Yes, Dell, exactly. That was crazy. That ending was so crazy. Victoria, hey. Matt, first coming to the broadcast. Hey, Emily. Hey, Lou. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Oh, come on in, guys. That's what Jeff Probst says on Survivor. Sorry. I'm yelling at you. I'm sorry. Yeah, Matt doesn't want to know. So, let me just, run to get the steps in. Sorry. If anyone else has a Fitbit, do you know this? You do the same thing? You're just, running in place for 5 seconds. Try to get those 250 steps per hour. It's the last one of the day, so I'll try to make it count. Come on. Okay, there it goes. All right, that never happened. So that was not part of the plan. But it definitely got a lot of views here on Periscope, didn't it? All right. Guys, it's not that kind of show. We're here to talk about Survivor. That was just me without a head for a minute. Running. Anyway, hi, I'm Taylor. Welcome to A Moment in Time with me. Thank you for tuning in. This is how you can support the channel, nextjuice.com/support. The link is in the description. Please do support. This is our slowest time of the year. This is the hardest time to keep the channel alive, and I really appreciate every single dollar that you guys send, whether it's $5 or $500. It goes a long way. The more goes longer, but even $5 is awesome too. Hey, 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 King. Okay, so how many of you guys watched tonight's episode? How many did not? 20 days. I'm not 20 days late, okay? 20 minutes late, and my hair was brushed before I put up in a bun, and now it's like that. That doesn't matter. What matters is what the heck happened on Survivor tonight. So first, let's pull up the cast and talk about what this season of Survivor has been about. It's called The Island of the Idols, and we have Sandra and Boston Rob both here on a separate island from the rest of the crew, and they're there to teach lessons to the crew members and also to give them challenges. So every other week we get an Island of the Idols episode where not only do you have the normal challenge with tribal council, but you also have one member of the crew cast that goes to Island of the Idols and receives a lesson and a test from Sandra and Boston Rob, who are both previous winners of Survivor. And if you're not familiar with Survivor, if you win, meaning you're the last person surviving left on the island, then you win $1 million. 1 million American dollars. It's a huge, huge, huge prize to play for, and they take it very seriously, and it gets crazy out there. Kind of, Del, but it also made her even bigger target, right? Because the people in the jury were crying. I mean, you don't want to sit next to that person a moment longer than you have to. Yeah, it was, right, Bradley? It was kind of weird. The ending was especially weird, I think. I wasn't really surprised by the way Tribal Council went, if I'm honest, but I would have liked it to go somewhere else. I would say that this episode went the complete opposite of the way that I wanted it to go. The person I was hoping would go home tonight won immunity and got to go to Island of the Idols and all this stuff. So, but I would have loved for her to win. So, all right, ask your question. I'm paying attention here. So let's go through the crew and see who's still here, who's not at the beginning of this episode. Jeff Probst is the host. Ronnie was the first Islander to be sent home, which was fine by me. Yes, I did, Del. Lauren is someone who is still there. She started out really, I thought, very much a background player, and oh my gosh, is this girl smart and a good player. I think she had an opportunity tonight that she didn't take, but at the same time, I mean, I see why she didn't take it. As you get further along in the game, you're surrounded by better players. There's a lot of targets, there's a lot of threats, and you gotta go with your gut in a lot of cases. You gotta go with who you think is gonna bring you as close to the end as you can get without beating you. And that's a really hard balance to keep. I'm not a vegan, though. Why? Mainly because of last Tribal Council, but also just in general. I've just never been a fan of him. Goat number 1, reporting for duty. I didn't really not like Lauren in particular that I can recall. You can check my replays. Maybe I said I didn't, but I was just not impressed by her. I just thought, okay, she could go pretty far because she's not really a target or really that good. But when that episode a few weeks ago, when she predicted who was gonna win, who was gonna eat, and then every single person went and ate except Nora, Elizabeth, and Karishma, like my mind exploded on that episode. I was like, okay, Lauren is a queen. Like that was amazing. And since then, that you've really got to see her brain working, her strategy, the way she thinks is just, it's attractive. Okay. I don't understand the legacy thing. He can't. Oh, good point, Del. Good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, the legacy advantage was only supposed to be for 9 players or 6 players. So yeah. So he'll actually not know. He may potentially not have even known that the legacy advantage was fake until he watched the episode of Jamal making it. Potentially, I don't know. I mean, maybe they got to talk about it after the season was over among themselves, but I'm really not sure. He's making smart moves now. Who are you talking about, Dean? She manifested it. Are you talking about Lauren? Are you talking about Lauren manifesting it, or who? Okay, so Elizabeth is out. Molly is out. Missy is out. We were down to final 7 when we started this episode tonight. Janet is still in. I really, really, really like Janet. And she said something interesting tonight, which I didn't realize. So on episode 1 of this season, Janet made fire from bamboo alone. No flint, no wood, just bamboo. Bamboo on bamboo, friction. Beasted it and made fire. And it was just like mind-boggling. It was amazing. It was impressive. It was also attractive. Why am I attracted to all these women? I don't know. It's just like they're all just, it's power, right? You just see people that inspire you, they motivate you, and you're drawn to it, right? So not like I'm a lesbian, but more like I'm just drawn to them. I'm attracted to them like a magnet, right? I'm just like, I can't like pull myself away from them. They're just amazing people. So at least that's how I feel about Janet and Lauren that I've talked about so far. But tonight, Janet mentioned that she said that another certain cast member, which I didn't realize, Elaine, could actually make fire, if not as good at her as Janet, good as her, sorry, but maybe even better. So that's really impressive. I love Elaine. I think everybody loves Elaine. I think a lot of people love Janet too. I think that Elaine and Janet were the crowd favorites, probably potentially Elaine a little bit more, because Janet had gotten caught up in the whole Dan situation a lot more than Elaine did, and I think that getting too close to that situation could have negatively impacted her kind of ratings or favor, but we'll get into the Dan situation later. So that was just something I thought was interesting that was mentioned tonight. I wanted to remember to mention. If only Janet went to LOL episode 1. I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry. Hey, Jane. Hi, did you get my message back? I only check my messages once a week on Mondays, so hopefully if you need something from me, I'll get back to you by next Monday. I'll be in Florida next week, too. Wonder what the heck Dan did. Oh, let's speculate on that. Let's speculate on that at the end. I mean, there's not like a ton to say about this episode, but every time I say that, it takes me like an hour to get through it all. Why am I up so late? It's not even midnight. Island of the Idols. Oh, did you say IOI? Oh, if only Janet went to IOI episode 1. Oh, yes. I thought you said LOL. Wow. Okay. Well, that happened too. There's a lot of things in here that I'm wishing that, I could edit this video. With someone that worked there? I think so, Del. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, someone from the production team? Like, who else is there? Sandra? Like, Jeff? I felt like Jeff he seemed interestingly opinionated on that at that tribal council, so I don't know if he played any role or what, but anyway. Epstein? What? On Big Brother? What? Okay, we're going to talk about Survivor, all right? And the people who are actually on Survivor. Hey, Jay. Oh, no. What teeth are they? I'm sorry to hear that. That stinks. Tooth pain is some of the worst pain I've ever had. I've been lucky to not have too much pain in my life, but okay. So Kelly is gone. She's on the jury. Oh yeah, let me go back and say, okay, so people who are gone. Elizabeth is out, but she's on the jury. I said Ronnie was the first one out, so obviously he's not on the jury. There's his face if you want to see it. Molly's out. Missy is out and on the jury. Kelly is also on the jury. Dean is still in. Tom is out. Jason is out. Aaron is out and on the jury. Vince is out. Jack is out and on the jury. He was the first member of the jury. Karishma went out last week. She looked like a goddess tonight. She looked so beautiful. That red dress, the lipstick, everything. It's so crazy because you see them all like islanded out. You know, they're like shipwrecked and looking kind of crazy. And then when they get voted out, they get to go to the resort. They get to like wear these fancy clothes and their hair is all done, their makeup is done, and they just look so fabulous. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's so beautiful. She looked amazing. Yeah, so tonight was the first night we got to see her on the jury, and she definitely came out that red dress like, I'm still here. How many times have I tried out for Survivor? 0. But I have been dared to do that, so I actually do have to make a video and submit it. I'm finishing out right now. I have an overlap of classes, so I'm taking college classes online. Right now I'm actually enrolled in 10 classes. So I finished the final assignments for 2 of the fall semester classes so that I have now 8 classes that I'm still enrolled in all of them, but I have 8 classes that I'm actively still working on until Friday. So once Friday is done and I've finished the fall semester out, then I'll be just in the winter semester and I'll be in 4 classes. But then I'm going to Florida next week, so I know I'm like really lagging on some of those dares, but sorry, excuse me. I love you guys. I appreciate you for supporting me, and I hope you all know that I'm not going to not do any of the dares. They're just a little bit delayed, kind of like this broadcast. You know, sometimes you just got to prioritize things, and like applying for Survivor is a fun dare. It's entertaining and it's like silly, but it's not as important as making sure my homework is done on time so that I don't fail out of college because it's really expensive. I've spent like $9,000 on school so far, and it's just my associate's degree. Another great reason to support me. Help me pay my way through school so I can become a psychologist. Thank you for inviting your followers, A-Train. Okay. I think I missed some comments. Let me just... what in the gym? I'm actually wearing clothes that I was going to wear to the gym today. I was like, all right, leg day today. And then I didn't do leg day. Instead, I did 4 classes of homework and started studying for a test. Then watched Survivor. Well, obviously I spent time with the kids. I did my science experiment earlier live, so you guys get to see some of that homework. And then when the kids came home, I did the science experiment with them. And then I went right back to homework. And then I hung out with them. We did dinner. And then I did more homework. And then Ed came downstairs from putting them to sleep. And then we watched Survivor. And then now here I am. And I had to take care of the elf. Pizza Hut or Domino's? Pizza Hut. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah probably liked the way tonight went. Well, I don't know, actually. You probably didn't like who went home, but you were glad who got immunity, I think. What is Next Juice? That's the name of this channel. So Next is short for Nexus, which means a connected group of people. And then Juice is like positive quality, positive energy. So it's a connected group of people who value positivity. I go live here on Periscope every single day for 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's been almost 3 years straight that I've been live every single day. Not 6th, no. Oh, you mean the gym? Yeah, the gym did not get prioritized today. That's 3 days in a row I haven't gone. It's pretty bad. I had gone like 10 days in a row before that, but hi Tiki. Hi. Okay. All right, back to the cast. Nora is still here. Tommy is still here. Jamal is out and on the jury, and I really wanted him to win because we have a little game where each of us is assigned to one of the people on Survivor randomly, and I got assigned to him, so I wanted him to win, but that did not happen. Okay, Dan is still there, and Elaine is still there. Chelsea is gone. So that's how it started for tonight's episode. I know some of you are like, I saw it, and what the things that you are saying are not entirely true. Well, yeah, we're going to get to that, okay? So it started out with, let's just recap kind of like the end of last tribal because it picked up from them coming back from that tribal. So Elaine, Karishma, Dean, and Nora had a plan that they were all going to vote for Tommy and attack the Majority Alliance, become the Majority Alliance, because there were 7 starting this episode. Well, so last week it was 8 people that were in the that were able to be voting. 8 people voting, wow. And they were going to have the 4 of them vote because they knew the other 4 were splitting their votes because they thought they had some people going with them. They thought Elaine and Nora were voting with them, and maybe even Krishma. It didn't really matter. They had the majority. They were relying on Nora. They thought everything was good. Turned out that Nora wanted to flip and go with the other 4 and vote out some of the big targets, like Tommy. They were going to go for Lauren, but then she won immunity, so they went for Tommy. At Tribal Council, Dean is sitting next to Tommy, and he leans over and says, hey, Tommy, these people are trying to get you out, even though Dean was one of them. and it becomes this whole thing. Nora is just digging herself deeper and deeper into a hole, lying, and that kind of, so ended up with Karishma going home, which was the original plan, but it was pretty close to Nora going home. There was a pretty strong feeling that Nora might end up going home after that, which was surprising because she really, I thought she really coordinated a pretty good move for the four of them to have a potential Final Four. I mean, I thought that would have been a really cool switch of power to witness and see the others kind of scramble to keep up with that, but that didn't end up happening last time. Hey, Tina. So instead, they start out with that aftermath on tonight's episode. And it is Nora continuously talking. Now, in another episode, Nora said that she found that if someone talks a lot, they're probably lying. And she has proven that to be the case. When she's lying, she tends to talk a lot. So she was saying, now I think, so I have my own opinions, right? I've never played Survivor. I don't know what the hell. These are just my thoughts as I watch it. Yeah, Tina, I know. The ending was so random. It was so weird. And you could tell when Jeff walked up, he was like very serious. I'm like, well, he's not smiling. Like something bad's about to happen. Nora's really upset. Everyone's upset with her, especially Tommy, because Tommy was the target, and everyone's feeling like, Nora, we thought we could trust you. What's going on? Tommy's definitely feeling like Dean had his back. I don't understand. You can watch my replay from last week. I don't get why Dean didn't tell him before Tribal Council. I don't know why Dean told him at all, because he had a pretty good spot with those four, and I don't think it would have been so surprising for him to do that, considering that he's not really in any alliances. Now, he does seem to think that he's in a little alliance with Tommy and Dan, which was the minority going into tonight, but we'll see. Actually, and still is. Okay. Dean is sneaky. Yeah, even his body language is, like, slithery. Do you notice that? Like, he's always, like he crosses his legs and he crosses his arms, and he always has his head, like, turned to one side. He's just a very interesting individual. In his head, I always, whenever I think of Dean, I just think of his head's always like tilted to 90-degree angle. Anyway, so I'm always like, I'm freaking out. Me and my boyfriend are watching, and I'm always like, what's his body language? He's like slouched down, and he's his head, and I don't know. It's just interesting to me. I feel like he's gonna watch it and be like, do I always sit like that? Like, what is that about? He's just got an interesting body language. He seems like a cool dude, okay? Like, I know I say a lot about these people, like, Karishma was kind of like, you know, she's, like, weak in this and weak in that and weak in that. She's not very helpful. She's not, like, really, you know, nobody really is, like, benefiting from her being there. But I'm sure she's a fine person outside of the game of Survivor. You know, Survivor is a very strange, like, unique environment that probably feels very surreal. And I felt like Dean was having that experience tonight when he was on Island of the Idols. Snake number 1 reporting for duty. Now that is perfect. That is probably going to be the best comment this whole broadcast. Thank you, Bradley, for saying snake number 1 reporting for duty. It was funny when he was saying the whole goat thing. He was right about that. I mean, that was pretty smart, but he hasn't been super impressive to me, even with what's been happening lately. Okay, so he won immunity, but even then, is like, I feel like he's telling his hand too much. Like, I didn't realize that Tommy knew he had the legacy advantage. It's just, now, obviously, it's fake, but I did read the Berenstain Bears as a kid. I've always loved to read. And if you like reading too, I have a whole thing of book reviews on my YouTube channel. I also wanted to say, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, when I'm going live with these broadcasts and others, like book reviews, ASMR, on my YouTube channel, I try to schedule it in advance a little bit, like half hour to an hour, so that you can kind of be prepared for when I'm coming live, which I don't have the option to do on Periscope or Twitter. So if you follow me on or subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can actually get those little notifications, like a heads up when I'm going live. And you can also, once the scheduled time to go live, even if I'm not live yet, it opens up the chat, so you can actually comment and kind of like chat in there and like tease me for not being live on time, which some of my friends were doing and didn't even know you could do that until tonight, because I'm usually on time. I know, it was surprising, Sarah. It was very surprising, but it was like, it wouldn't have been surprising a few weeks ago, though. It was the letters on the screen were the most surprising part to me. Like, we'll get to that. Okay, so yeah, so that's what happened. So Nora is saying to them in the beginning of this episode that, well, I was gonna tell you at Tribal Council. I swear, I was never gonna put your name down, which is BS, and I was totally gonna tell you at Tribal Council. That's a lie. It's such a lie, and it's so obvious that it's a lie. I think that was a bad strategy on her part to just keep lying. So, one, you hid something from us. Now you're lying to us about it. You're not really earning any favor or forgiveness here. You're just making yourself more on the outs, less trustworthy, less part of the alliance. And that's not a great spot to be in. Thanks for inviting, Lou. So I think that a better option potentially would have been for her to say, I'm really sorry, pin it all on Dean, right? Which she was trying to do, but she wasn't doing it very effectively, is to say that, and thanks for sharing on Twitter, that's really helpful, thank you, is that Dean came up with this whole plan. Dean came up to me. He said, here's the plan. You know, he's a numbers guy. He ran all the numbers at me. I'm not a numbers person. He was basically telling me, like, I'm on the bottom of you know, this alliance here, which I think might be true because you guys all went and met your families, which made me feel really emotional because I really wanted to spend time with my sister. And I know you couldn't take everyone, but I was feeling that, you know, he approached me when I was in a state of vulnerability, which isn't actually totally true, but it's much closer to the truth than what she was saying, which was a blatant, obvious lie. And say, you know, this was all his idea, and now I'm realizing that that was his plan the whole time, was to come up with this idea, get us all on board with it, and then try to turn you guys all against me and try to get you guys to turn against me, which, you know, I was stupid for trusting him. I'm obviously never going to work with him again. You guys don't have to worry about that, you know, like, it's not great. It's still very thin, but I think it's better than what she was saying, to say that she was going to tell him in tribal council. But whatever, it is what it is. We'll see what happened as the episode went on. So apparently Dean has these, like, fancy sneakers that he's, like, his, like, a prized possession, and Nora made some joke that these are, like, the cleanest item on the whole island, like, and she's like, and they're cleaner than, like, anything, like, in the normal world, too. Like, they're, like, these super white sneakers, and she doesn't even understand how this exists in Survivorland. They're, like, these high tops. And while he's off talking to Elaine, she takes the sneakers and, like, hides them up in this sign, and she says, now he won't be able to reach this because I'm taller than he is. And she, like, tucks them into this sign. Now, we don't actually get to see him retrieve the sneakers at any point, so my guess is that it was very anticlimactic. He probably just, like, climbed up and grabbed them, because he was a basketball player, so he can jump. He might have just jumped up and tapped it and got him off, and it probably wasn't that big of a deal. He probably didn't throw a big fit. Doesn't seem to be a very emotional player. He's usually pretty calm, smooth operator, so I'm assuming why we didn't get to see how that went down with him retrieving the sneakers. But we did get to see those sneakers hanging over his shoulder as he went onto the Island of the Idols, which he got pulled just out of a bag for chance. So typically, in the last several times Island of the Idols was that episode happened, the boat pulls up to the island. So if you guys don't know, Island of the Idols is a separate island right near them where Sandra and Rob are. Now, I don't know how many of them know Sandra and Rob are there. Some people have gone, like Nora. Who's gone that's on the island so far? Let's just say, you know, some people have gone, so they know that they're there. I don't know if they've told everybody else, like, that's happening or not. It's kind of unclear. There's a chance everybody knows. I just don't know. Rob is hilarious. It's fun to watch Rob watch, isn't it? Like, what, in the little hut at the tribal councils? I just love that. Like, he's so funny, and I feel like we say the same thing, you know, when we're not always, like, he definitely understands Survivor way better than I do, but there's so many times that I say something and then he says, I'm like, yeah, exactly, I get all hyped up, you know. They are so funny. Yeah, he's got a great personality for sure. His accent, everything. The fish that he caught on tonight's episode, like, how many of those fish did he catch? He's, like, catching fish with a spear underwater, and I'm like, is that even real? Is that really happening? Are these people really, like, voluntarily choosing to live on this island? Because I kind of was under the impression they were, like, at the resort and then coming to the island for the Island of the Idol stuff. I didn't really think they're, like, living there, and I almost wonder if they're, like, intermittently, like, okay, we'll live here for, like, a week at a time and then go, like, freshen up, or if they have food and snacks. I mean, I don't know. Are they really just choosing to do that? How much are they getting paid? So many questions. Elaine and Nora, I know, went. Are you guessing? So you didn't watch tonight's episode, or what do you mean? Oh, you mean went to the Islands of the Idols? Yeah, I'm like, wait, I thought you saw this, Bradley. Okay, yeah, they went, Elaine went to Island of the Idols as well. Yeah, and there might have been other people. I'm just like, I don't want to interrupt the broadcast to think, and it doesn't really matter too much. It's not totally clear whether they know they're there or not. So usually when the boat pulls up, they say, all right, you either all have to unanimously pick one islander to go to the Island of the Idols, or you can choose, if you can't get a unanimous decision, then you'll just draw a name from the bag, and that person has to go immediately. Get on the boat and go. So This time, it had to be chance. There wasn't any option to unanimously pick someone to go. You just had to draw a name out of the hat, or out of the bag, and it ended up being Dean. So Dean got to go to Island of the Idols, and his test, so when you go, you get a lesson and a test, which I had mentioned in the beginning of this broadcast. And his lesson was jury management. So you have to be playing not just your game in Survivor, but you also have to be playing to the jury. You have to be building your resume with the jury. You have to make sure that you're talking about the moves and the strategies that you've been using so that the jury is building up an image of you in their mind. Even Sandra said you have to have bravado, about your moves. And I thought that's a little risky because we saw how that went with Tommy when Dean presented himself as this good game player with a lot of strategy and thinking deeply about these things. Tommy started to view him as a big threat and thought, oh, maybe I don't want to take him to the end. He's a much bigger player than I thought he was, and I'm not sure I really want to be working with him. I think I want him to go now. So I don't know if that's the best advice. I think you could definitely be sitting there in Final 2 and tell everyone, say, hey, I couldn't talk about this at Tribal Council. A lot of you guys didn't know about this because I had to play under the radar, but here are the things that I did. And present your story and hope for the best. You can kind of, like he did tonight, which I thought was smart, brought in, he said, well, look at the last few people who've been voted out. This person, he's using their name, he's pointing at them, he's connecting with them, he's saying, I see you, I care about you, I'm paying attention, we are connected, you like me, basically, I like you, so therefore you must like me, like that reciprocity, You don't like Dean? Yeah, well, see, that's what I said, I wanted him to go tonight. Hey, I'm real, how are you? How are you? Not because I don't particularly like Dean, it's more like there's just, I would have been fine with really any of the guys probably going home. I'm not really loving any of the dudes this episode. There's no Rick Devens. I think Elaine was like the Rick Devens of this season. Hey guest, how are you? Jury management is something that Boston Rob had to learn the hard way during Survivor All-Stars. Was that the redemption episode or season that he was talking about? Because he mentioned that. He mentioned that tonight, so that's probably what you're talking about. This is only my second season of watching Survivor ever, so I'm the total noob. I'm good, how are you? His lesson is jury management. They're teaching him. They also give him the challenge. They say, okay, you have a coin flip. You have a chance. This is complete 50-50 chance. I'm going to flip this coin. If it lands on yes, then you have a choice of 3 potential advantages in the game. If it lands on no, then you lose your vote at the next tribal council. Your choice if you want to play the game or not. However, Boston Rob was really pushing him hard to play the game, which I haven't seen him do prior to this, and there's times where he actually criticized people for playing games of chance and for being too, kind of impulsive and jumping on it, so it was kind of contradictory. I don't know, but he was saying you need something on your resume. You need something that's going to impress them. You can use this and say, I risked my vote for a potential advantage. I took some risk. I didn't do everything under the radar and in the background and just kind of sneak and snake my way to the final, however many. Final 2. That's all that matters, right, for the jury, or maybe even 3. Final 3. I'm not coming to Turkey. I've watched Survivor from the beginning of time. Do you know that they're celebrating 20 years next year? You probably do. It was season 8. Boston Rob got chewed out by one of the jurors. Wow. E-Johns, because I love this business so much. I'm surprised you don't, because you're here by choice. And he decides, okay, I'm going to do it, which isn't really that surprising considering how hardcore Boston Rob was telling him almost that he had to do it. So he takes the game of chance. He decides the 3 options were he could either win an immunity idol, but he couldn't use it on himself. He would have to use it on another player, or he could win an idol nullification, which cancels out someone's immunity idol. So the way that works is if you have a idol nullifier, is you put that in when you're voting, you write the name of the person that you're using that nullification for, and you put it in with the actual token into the bucket. So then when Jeff's pulling out the names, he'll pull that out and he'll say that if this person used an idol, it does not protect them. It's not an actual immunity idol, right? You think, oh, I'm good as long as I have an immunity idol. Well, now there's an idol nullifier, which means the idol's no good. And then what was the third option? The third option was, I believe, block a vote, where you can block someone else's vote. So he wanted the idol nullifier, which makes sense because earlier in the episode he saw Janet and Tommy find an idol, and he knew Janet found it because he saw Janet showing something to Tommy and Tommy reading something. He was very observant, and I thought that was really impressive because Elaine was with him and she was just walking right by, and he goes, no, look, she's showing him something, he's definitely reading something. They found an idol because they were all out looking for idols, all 4 of them. So that was very observant, very good. You know, I'm not trying to totally negate his game, but I just like other people better than him, I guess. So Janet finds an idol, which is great because I also love Janet. Dean knows about this. He knows that he can get an idol nullifier to potentially block Janet's use of an idol if need be, or someone else's as that comes up. So, you know, and I was just thinking actually another resume point for him is that Kelly used an idol on him, and then he voted Kelly out the next tribal council. That was pretty amazing. That was, I don't know if Kelly's going to like that too much, but she has to be able to respect the game a little bit, you know, and when somebody does something that furthers them in the game and gets you out, it's still good gameplay for them. It's not personal, right? Hopefully. And it didn't seem to be in that case. So they flip the coin, it lands on yes, he gets the idol nullifier. He goes back and he tells the tribe a good lie. His lie was also very impressive. He said, I don't know, the weather's fine. It's wintertime, it's not great. But I mean, I don't really like go outside when it's like this. Hey Matthew, how are you? Yeah, it's cold. But I'm just trying to talk about Survivor really quick. I don't think many people care about the weather. You can Google weather in New Jersey if you're interested. If you're cold, put a blanket on, a sweater on, put some socks on. Basic things that you probably learned as a child. All right, so he goes back to the tribe and he tells them a good lie. The lie is that he had to flip a coin, and if it landed on heads, then he was going to pick the... Oh no, it was an extra vote. Now, I don't know if it was really an extra vote. Yeah, I think it was an extra vote. Maybe block a vote, extra vote. I think it was extra vote. Sorry. So he said, I picked the extra vote, I flipped the coin, and it landed on no. So I didn't get anything. That was a good lie because he even said I had the choice of three potential advantages. And he said idol nullifier as one of the potential advantages. So he told them the truth. Except he said that he lost and that he picked the extra vote instead of the idol nullifier. Then he goes and he tells Tommy, Dan, and Lauren that he actually won and he picked the idol nullifier and he knows that Janet has an idol. I think. Wait, no, I don't know if he told them that he knew that Janet had an idol. Ed, my boyfriend, said that he said that, but I didn't remember him saying that, but we talk a lot throughout the show, so I'm really not sure. I'm not sure, Sadie. I have a theory, and I'm going to get to that when we get to the end of the episode, which we're getting closer to it now. So he tells them the truth. Now, Tommy's saying, you know, this guy's a bigger player than I thought, like I said, and he mentions that he's got this idol nullifier, he has the block a vote, or I'm sorry, he has the legacy advantage, and I didn't even know that that Dean told Tommy about the legacy advantage. Like, I didn't even know anyone knew that Dean still had that legacy advantage. So something about Dean is just like, he just loves Tommy and he wants to be Tommy's number 2 or number 1, whatever. And Lauren identified that. She's like, Dean is trying so hard to become to Tommy what I am to Tommy. So she can see Dean as a threat. And I really do think that Dean would have been a potential target tonight if he didn't win the immunity challenge. So tonight's immunity challenge was really entertaining to watch, I think. I don't know what you guys think. Feel free to type in the chat. They had a reel of rope around their waist, and they had to run down a path, but they had to run. So they didn't have to run, you know, but it is a race, so time is of the essence. So they had to spin this rope because otherwise it was too short. So they had to unreel the rope, but they were like the cog in the wheel. So they're spinning as they're like running down the path. They get to the end, they're all falling over. They're trying to go to the next part. It's like this rope thing that you have to climb over, like a net, like a rope net thing that's kind of suspended in the air, and they're like, so Tommy like ran over it. He was beasting it. Other people were like falling over. Lauren rolled over on her back. Oh my god, I was loving it. Nora fell over. She came out of the rope. Elaine fell over. Everybody's falling over. I was like, this is some good TV. Just watching people spin around. Now, wasn't it interesting that Nora was spinning around on the beach? When was that? Was that before the challenge? And why was she doing that? Did she know what the challenge was going to be, or was that coincidence? Or was that after the challenge and she was trying to just work on that skill set? What do you guys think? I thought that was interesting. I'm like, did Nora know what the challenge was going to be? Why is she spinning around on the beach seemingly before that challenge? Kind of random. But who knows? So she shouldn't have been able to know anything about the challenge as far as I could tell, so I'm not really sure. She does yoga, so it could have just been like a movement part of her training, part of like trying to work on that type of skill set, so I don't know. But I'm going to fill over and faceplanted. Most people did, yeah. It's a scripted show. What do you mean that they told her to go stand on the beach and spin around without telling her why? Or what do you think, that was just like a random separate time, like after the fact, or what do you mean? Because she wasn't saying anything. I'm good, Global. How are you? So, but I definitely, the production team definitely coaches them on how to make it interesting TV. I've talked about this in previous reviews. Nimet, thank you for following me on Instagram. You guys can follow me on Instagram too if you want. It's Next Juice, just like on here. All my social media links are on my website at the contact page. The link is in the description. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, so they're spinning, they go over the rope thing, and then it's a balance beam. Now that was the best part. I didn't even realize that. They had to walk on a balance beam, and they're all dizzy as hell, and they're all falling over, and Elaine's going, just go for it. She's trying to psych herself, just go for it, and she keeps trying to step on it, and she falls over. Get up, falls over. And on the balance beam, not only do they have to walk across the balance beam, which is actually like a zigzag balance beam, and I think it also has incline and decline, but there's puzzle pieces on there tied on with a rope. So they have to untie the rope, release the puzzle pieces, and then run on and then finish the balance beam and go to the end where it's a word puzzle. So it's a word puzzle made of different shape blocks with different letters on them. And the solved puzzle was this game will mess with your mind. Elaine was so close. She had will mess with your mind. She was just missing this game at the top. She was trying to figure out like how to fit it and how it all went. And while she was figuring it out, Dean ended up solving the puzzle and winning immunity. So that was pretty impressive on his part, but I was also really impressed with her because she kept saying she's really not good with words. She was like, oh, dang it, words. I'm not good with words. This is not going to be good. But then she did pretty well. Now, I also think that if she went, oh, I was right there, I almost had it, I had it before you did, but then you passed me, I couldn't get those top pieces. I think if she had played that down a little bit, you already have a big target on your back, and you really did need to win immunity, so like just chill out a little bit maybe, because you're telling everyone how good you just did on that challenge, and how you almost won immunity, and how much of a threat you are to them in some way. You're the most likable person, you have great social game, you've won immunity before. Like, just act like you didn't do that good, because they're gonna vote you out. Came in to say hi, I've never seen Survivor, don't dislike me. Why would I dislike you based on that? I never watched Survivor until last year, and I only watched because my boyfriend likes it. But now I like it too, but I don't really watch a lot of TV myself. Hey Joker, how are you? Okay. Calm yourself, Elaine. Yeah. She like smashed the puzzle. She's like, ah. It was awesome. I love her though. I follow her on Instagram. I love everything about her. She's definitely like a crowd favorite. I think her and like Rick Devens last year, and then Elaine this year. It's just, I assume if they do have more redemption seasons in the future where they give people another chance to win, I bet you they'll bring Elaine back. I would probably bet money on that actually if I had that long to wait for a return on my bet. So Dean wins immunity, Annie goes silent to the idol, he gets the idol nullifier. This was his game. He destroyed it. He was doing so good. Damn it, Dan in the India. Yeah. Who had Elaine? Matthew Gold, who is in the chat right now. Sorry, Matt. Love you, man. Hey, Ed. So they're all talking about who they're going to vote for. The majority of people say, okay, let's all just vote for Elaine. We're all going to vote for Elaine. And then a couple people, Nora is there. She's part of that. So they're like, yeah, we're all voting for Elaine. Then a couple of them kind of go off to the side. They're like, okay, well, shouldn't at least one of us put a vote on Nora just in case something crazy happens. Just in case Elaine plays an idol, then Nora will go out. Nora is our second choice to go out. So now I think they would have targeted Dean. I don't know if it would have been their primary target or backup plan, but I actually think that they were more worried about Dean than than Nora, at least. I don't know about Elaine. Dean and Elaine may be the same boat for them. Because Elaine was working with them, too. Dean's working with them. I mean, I think those two are both potentially targets for that team, that alliance. So they decide to put they said, okay, Dan will put one vote on Nora, and that's the plan. Now, Elaine did really well. Elaine did everything that she could do to try to save herself and protect herself here. A hug. If you need a hug, Matt, Ed's got your back. She convinced Lauren. But she tried to convince Lauren that here's how this all works out. Now, Elaine was doing really well. She did well privately when she was talking to Lauren, and she did well. No, I don't know what that is. Product. I've never heard of that. That sounds pretty cool. What's the name of that show? Did I miss some comments, guys? Let me just. No, I don't think so. But if I did miss your comment, just type it in again. I'll try to catch it. So, she at Tribal Council, even Rob, who watches in like a little hut off to the side. Hi, Laura. He said, this is, if you're Elaine, this is what you do. You explain, you try to pull some of those people over, because at this point you need 4 people to vote somebody out. Potentially, depending on how many ways it's split. You need a majority vote, right? So even if it's like 3, 2, 1, whatever. So you want 4 people. So if you feel like you're on the outs of the alliance and one other person's on the outs of the alliance, well, you just have to pull the 2 people that feel like they're at the bottom of the bigger alliance and get them to turn on their alliance, right? So it's like, it's much easier, not easier, but it's like the numbers are smaller, so there's less convincing, less campaigning that you have to do at this level. And she was doing a great job at it, I think. Hey, Kyle, I'm good. How are you? So she was convincing Lauren, listen, like, they're going to target you. Once they get me out, she's like, you can get me out or Nora out, and then they're coming for you. Like, the boys are in their own thing. They know that you're a threat. They're afraid of you. They are not bringing you through to the end. And Lauren goes right to Tommy and says that to him. She's like, this is what Elaine said. And he's like, that's not true. I'm definitely bringing you to Final 3. No doubt about it. Then it cuts right to him, talk to the camera going, I told her I'm bringing her to Final 3, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm not sitting next to her in Final 3. She's way too good. I'm going with Dean and Dan. That's the 3 of them end up making this plan. That might have been after the fact, but Dan, Dean, and Tommy decide they're going to have a Final 3 instead. So, which we'll get to why that's not going to work out for them in a moment, as many of you probably saw from the comments. Good, I'm glad to hear it, Kyle. So at Tribal Council, Elaine is pointing this all out. She's like, okay, well, if you go for Nora now, then I'm going to be the next target. I'm the biggest target. You want to keep me around because everybody's going to be trying to vote me out, so it keeps the heat off of you. If you vote me out now, you might be giving up your own seat because everyone else wants to bring Nora with them. And if you're not Nora, then you want me to stay around so people aren't voting you out because everybody wants to take Nora to the end, is her argument. Now, I think Nora actually does have some good resume building, and I think Nora is a bit more likable than you might think. Yeah, she's kind of like, eccentric, but I think that actually has some charm to it. And if she makes it that far, I think that she stands somewhat of a chance. I would personally rather go next to Dan than Nora, I would say. I feel like, I don't know, even Tommy, I don't even know that I find Tommy all wildly impressive. He did do some, he won a few challenges when they were in the separate tribes. I don't think he's ever won individual immunity. I haven't really seen him make any, crazy big moves where I went, whoa, this guy's really impressive, like I did with Lauren. So, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know who I'd rather sit next to, but I don't want to sit next to Elaine and Janet. I know that much, so I don't blame anyone for targeting them. And Janet even said that. She's like, what Elaine is saying, I could easily be saying too. We're both, she's like, I think both, she and I are viewed very similarly. We're viewed as targets. We're viewed as liked by most of the members of the jury and the team, and people want us out because they don't want to be sitting next to us. So you were kind of like, oh, maybe Janet and Lauren are going to vote with Elaine and get Nora out. And because Dan is already putting his vote on Nora, so that'd be 4 votes for Nora, and Nora would actually get out. And the boys would be blindsided. However, I'm doing real ASMR right after this, Deb. I'm going to try to finish Othello tonight when I'm done with this broadcast. Hi, Laura. So stay tuned for ASMR. After this, I'll be whispering, and it'll be weird, but hey, like I said, isn't that kind of charming? Hey, Emily. How are you? Okay. However, this is how it went down. As some of you already probably have picked up on the chat and the way that I've been speaking. She did good. She did some good campaigning. You thought she might have flipped them over. Lauren did a good job. Oh, this is what I was going to say too. So Lauren did this thing before she wrote anyone's name down. She said, and I think that that's part of what like the production team tells them to do. Before you write anyone's name down, just look really perplexed about it. Look like, oh, I'm not sure who I'm going to write down, even if you know exactly who you're writing down, because it helps us with editing, right? It helps with suspense and like, ooh, what are they going to do? They seem like they're torn. They're not sure. You know, it just makes for easier TV. You have more footage. So whether or not she was torn, I don't think so, because if she knew it was going to be Elaine or Nora. So if either way, like, she would have known going up there. She wouldn't have made that decision up there, because she had to be on board. Her and Janet had to be on board both with that, or it wouldn't have made really much of a difference. So regardless, she wrote down Elaine, and so did pretty much everybody else besides Elaine. And who else? I think actually everybody. I think everyone wrote. No, there was 2 votes for Nora. Oh, Dan. Dan wrote Nora, too. So Elaine and Dan both wrote Nora, and everybody else wrote Elaine. So Elaine was the next person to be voted off the island of Survivor. But wait, there's more. They're all hanging out. The next day, they're all lounging. There's 4 days left. Okay, so that was day 40. There's 45 days on the island till the end of the season, till they win. And so actually next week will be the season finale of Survivor. Oh, the Golden Squirrel Awards were tonight? That's funny. So Jeff Probst approaches them at camp. They're all just kind of hanging around, and they're like, you know, Lauren goes, Jeff Probst, why are you here? Like, what's happening? And he's not smiling. He's very, like, somber. He comes up, and he's like, okay, here's the situation. Hey, couldn't type that tone out. Hi. I got nominated. Thank you. Yeah, I know that. He says, here's the situation. There's been a meeting with Dan, and he will not be returning to camp. He's not here anymore. He won't be on jury. We won't be seeing him again. And that's it. Dan is gone. He's just coming to let them know. So, second person off of Survivor tonight, unexpectedly, Mr. Dan. And I'm actually surprised Dan made it this far after some of the things that happened, and just right early on from the beginning of the show, I thought this guy's never going to last, and he lasted so much longer than I thought he would, but I'm not too upset to see him go. Now here's what happened. They said, they put up on the screen in words, white words on black background, I think, and it said, Dan had another incident after what had happened previously. So if you guys don't know what had happened, he had been touching women and making them, not sexually from what they showed or necessarily said, but uncomfortable. Not really a clear respect for personal space, not really like getting consent before even just like touching somebody's hair or giving them a back rub to help them relax, you know, like that kind of stuff. It's like, and maybe that's how he lives, and maybe it's fine in the circles he runs in, but that would make me extremely uncomfortable. I also think I would just tell him that, and I do get the impression that he would not touch me after that, but that's neither here nor there. What it said in the words was that he had another incident, not with one of the cast members. He had another incident with someone who was not a member of the cast and was removed from the show. Who else is there? The camera crew? The production team? Who is he touching? Why am I frozen? Did I just freeze for you guys? That was weird. Who's he touching? That's besides the cat, like, is he touching, like, is he, like, rubbing shoulders of the camera people? Or the production team? Like, what? What happened for him to actually get removed from the show? Yeah, see, Bradley and Laura both went, Jeff? I know someone said earlier, no, maybe he grabbed Jeff's butt. Now, here's the thing. They showed clips earlier of, like, they're, like, doing the confessionals, right, in the camera, and you hear someone behind the camera go, like, well, if this is really making you uncomfortable, like, we can intervene. Like, you just need to ask us. Like, we don't want anyone to feel unsafe here. And earlier they said, no, I think it'll be okay. We're going to vote him out. And he just, like, hasn't been getting voted out. And everybody, they've been at least editing it, so it seems like he's been fine. Like, people don't seem uncomfortable with him anymore. Everybody seems fine. And then all of a sudden, he's just gone. So much for Tommy and Dean and Dan's final 3. And whatever anyone's plan was with Dan, because Dan's now gone. So 2 people are gone. So the remaining people left on Survivor now. Let's see, this whole row is wiped out. And remember, we're going to see Elaine on the jury next week, but we're not, and next week is the season finale, but we are not going to see Dan, because he's not there at all. He won't be on the jury. So the jury will be 1 member short. What the hell, man? Also, if you don't follow Elaine, she is on Instagram, Elaine Stott32, Stott, and she went live tonight talking about love, you know, how much love she was getting, how much she appreciates that, and she even shared her P.O. box if you want to send her something. She's a pretty awesome person, so just putting that out there. Thank you, Matt, for sending that to me, which is part of why I was late coming live tonight, because I was watching that live stream. Who had Dan, my friend Dan on fleek. All right. It was weird that Dan got Dan, you know. So Nora and Tommy are now in the final 5. This whole row has been wiped out. Dean and Janet and Lauren. So those are the final 5. They're left. Now, this is interesting because Dean had that legacy advantage, which is fake, that Jamal made before he left. He doesn't know it's fake. But it was only to be used when there are 9 or 6 people remaining. So now that it went from 7 to 5, he actually can't use that legacy advantage anymore, which is fine, right? Because you could only use it to get you to 5 anyway, so, like, he doesn't need it. However, I wonder if at the end he'll ask, like, if Jeff can verify if it's real or not or something. Like, he can't use it anymore. Can he find out if it's real or not after, like, not being able to use it? I don't know. You think that that Tommy's gonna win? I don't know. You guys want to not take bets, but, like, do you want to, like, say who you think's gonna win? So let's read their bios. Ready? Here's Lauren. She's from Bakersfield, California, and Rochester Hills, Michigan. Lives in Glendale, California, and she's a nanny. The accomplishment she's most proud of is moving across the country from Michigan to Los Angeles at 17 years of age and creating a stable life for herself. Los Angeles rent is no joke, and even though a lot of people she knows has moved home, she's been able to stick it out. Tenacity is her middle name. And why do you think you'll survive Survivor? My ability to connect with others is astronomical. I just love people. I have the physical and mental ability to see myself through to the very end. People tend to underestimate me, which will definitely work in my favor. I plan to be the second Black woman to win this game, hands down. Let's see who else we got here. Janet. She's from Neptune, New Jersey, lives in Palm Bay, Florida. She's a chief lifeguard. She's most proud of saving many lives in the ocean and, of course, her kids and her grandchildren. And she'll survive because she can read people and has the necessary skills athletically and socially. Oh my God, Derek, I cannot believe you're still in this. What the actual crap? Okay, Dean from Westfield, New Jersey. We got 2 New Jerseyans. He currently lives in New York City in tech sales. Biggest accomplishment is achieving the highest success rate of all Miami Algebra 1 teachers for students passing the end-of-year exam. He's a teacher? Or he was a teacher? I didn't know that. Why does he think he'll survive? Yes, I agree with you. I so agree with you, Derek. He ruined everything last week. Yeah, I wanted him to go tonight, but that was the opposite of what happened. He, like, dominated tonight's episode. Yeah, you can say that if you'd like. Self-awareness is one of the most important leadership characteristics. My social intelligence will allow me to read people when to go big and when to fall back. I strongly believe in my ability to get along with and be liked by a variety of different people. This will allow me to build strong, diverse alliances. Additionally, my athletic and puzzle abilities will make me a threat within challenges. My experience working in sales will fuel my persuasion within my alliances. Now, Dean hasn't had a lot of alliances, and he was part of the only showmance of the season, which was with Chelsea, who was, like, very, very early voted out. And we have Nora from London, Bethesda, Maryland. Now she lives in North Potomac, Maryland. She's an entrepreneur. Accomplishment she's most proud of is experiencing the world, living in many places, trying many jobs, careers, and businesses, exploring many different people and relationships, going out on her own, and making her own living and path best suited for her. I don't even know who that is, Dub, I'm sorry. And she'll survive because she's multidimensional and not just one thing or person. She's the nerd, jock, and model with brains, brawn, and beauty. Most importantly, she has the social skills needed to both win and influence people and relentless drive to go after what she wants. And Tommy. Did I miss someone? Did I read 5? He's from Bayville, New York. He now lives in Long Beach. He's a 4th grade teacher. His accomplishment he's most proud of is all the children's lives he has changed through teaching, and also he has a really killer Disney coffee mug collection. He thinks he'll survive because he is physical and can win challenges, but that won't win Survivor. What wins Survivor is the time spent opening up and connecting to people. When you have real connections with people, they will keep you around longer. Also, he's there to win the game. He sees himself finding idols, making moves, and leading blindsides. He has not really done any of those things as far as I know. So Dub thinks Tommy's gonna win. Now, did I say all of those? Hello, love my face. I love your face. Okay, so we have Nora, Tommy, Dean, Janet, and Lauren. Yeah, okay, so that was everybody. Who do you guys think will win? I think maybe Lauren. What do you guys think? Obviously, Derek thinks Nora because he's got Nora in our little game. Hey, Mike, how are you? Yeah, we are live. Sorry, I just had that up on my screen so I couldn't see the YouTube comments while I was showing that stuff, but I can see you now if you're still there on YouTube. I want probably Janet to win now. I wanted Elaine to win, but Lauren too. Janet, okay. Dean, oh, you think Dean will win Victoria? I that just crossed my mind just now as I was looking at them. I was like, God damn it, Dean. Maybe. He definitely got to go to Island of the Idols at a really crucial time. Oh, and that's another thing. They showed a clip from next week where he's actually, I'm sorry, why can't I speak tonight? All of the entire cast gets to go to Island of the Idols next week. And there's going to be an ultimate challenge. They showed Dean like grabbing a rusty knife and like running. I was like, what's happening right now? So I'm not really even sure what the heck is going to happen. But I'm excited. It's the season finale. It'll probably be 2 hours long. So we'll recap it. We'll see who wins. So we'll see not only who wins Survivor, but who wins the little game I have going amongst some of my friends. And we'll shout them out. So the people left in the game, I'll highlight the Survivor, but I'll say who the person is in the game is my friend Gina, my friend Wolf Puppy, my friend this is actually Lisa Sansusi, also my friend, I just almost said the wrong friend, Derek, my friend Derek, he's in the chat right now, this whole thing was actually his idea, my friend Steph Taylor, who will win? My money is on Gina, not my actual money, okay? We're not gambling. Don't show me down, Periscope. I just say things that sound like gambling sometimes. All right, I'm going to end this so I can go live with my last episode of Othello. I'm going to be whisper reading Othello by Shakespeare to help you guys relax, wind down, go to bed after a pretty intense episode of Survivor. Derek will win. Island of Derek's. I want to go with Wolf Puppy's choice. That's Janet. I would like Janet to win a lot. I just don't know if she will. Like, I mean, Janet and Lauren are probably the biggest threats, so it's going to be hard for them to get to the final 3, but they only have to get 2 more people out, so they could do it, but I really think Nora's going to be sitting in that final 3. I'm pretty sure. I always like the crazy ladies. That's perfect. She's perfect for you then. I like her though too. I've grown to like her more. She's a bit much, but she does yoga. She taught like the whole yoga class on the beach, and you know, I'm a yoga teacher too, so yes, I'm gonna be whispering. But hey, you just got an hour of me not whispering, and I did a whole science experiment earlier, so deal with it. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this broadcast. We didn't get any super hearts. Like I said, this is our hardest time of the year. It's a really financially challenging time, harder to keep this show going, especially now that I'm spending so much money on school, almost $9,000 I've spent. If you want to contribute specifically to my schooling, you can either just put a message there on the link at nextjuice.com/support in the description, or you can go to gofundme.com/nextjuice1. Nextjuice1. I love you too, Dave. Have a great time at the gym, and Love you guys. Thank you to everyone here who makes this show possible over the last 30 days. These are all contributors of this channel. There's Derek, aka Nora. Who else is in here? Matt is in here. He's going to pop up here on the bottom. Not the bottom, but like down where you can't see right now. And Ed, who's right there. He just disappeared behind the top part. Let's wait for Matt. Come on, Matt. Come on. Elaine went home tonight. We have to give Matt a hug. Come on. Come on, Matt. Where are you? Come on. Come on. There's Mark Gage. Krishma went last week. He had Krishma, so. Come on. Come on. Come on. Matt, I love you. Maybe ASMR will make you feel better. You always ask me to do it, so. Come on. There he is! MVG512. Follow him. It'll make him feel better. Love you, man. Love you all. Namaste. And don't forget, I go live every single day, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day with positive content. And I go live every Wednesday with a Survivor recap. And next week is the season finale, so it'll be our last one. And I had so much fun doing it this season, and we were receiving some support during it that I'm thinking maybe we'll do it again for Big Brother whenever that comes. Let's look that up real quick. When's the next Big Brother season? June 25th. That's 6 months away. We got time. We got time. All right. See you on the next juice. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. And all of you lovely souls that make this possible. See you in a few minutes. I'm going to do ASMR. I might need a bathroom break, but I'll be back.